You didn't believe anything that I said. When they came, you were not prepared. Then it all fell right on your head. And now you're lying in your bed. You've got yourself in a rabbit hole. You're trapped 'cause you did not let go. You took that bait and now you...
Hey everybody, it's Carrie with Alice Eats the Apple, and today is a new day. And I'm here with my dear, dear friend, Nora Yolles Young. Hello, Nora.
Hi,
Speak,
everybody.
she speaks. Okay, so yesterday I called Nora and I was telling her, I said, you know, it's right there. It's right there. I feel this big, sort of this big epiphany, and it is just building. It's like in this crock pot. No, not a crock pot. What are those pressure pots, those rice cooker things? Pressure cookers. And so I called her and she was just, we just walked through and we ended up talking, I think, for an hour and a half, hour 45, and you are doing some phenomenal things. And I want to talk about that. Okay, how I want to break this show down. We may run the whole thing at once, but I have a couple of topics that I think are just fascinating. And it's sort of like, while I have you here, and then I just want to post them maybe by subject. So first,
Cool.
Let's start out. How are you, my friend?
I'm so good. And I'm really appreciative that you are bringing up these topics. I mean, I have a sense, just as we talked yesterday, that we're ready for more. We're all ready for more. What is it? We're like waiting with bated breath, slobbering. What is next? What do I do? Have no idea.
Okay, let's give a
Right?
context. When you say that, what are you thinking? I mean, what is the context behind what is more, in a metaphysical way, in a spiritual way?
Yes, and so I think humanity is going through a phase where the paradigm is just collapsing completely. And so what made sense before totally is like completely out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So relationships, professional desires, senses of what causes ambition, ways of parenting, how we relate to our money, our health, our food, our fitness, our minds, our consciousness. It's all shifting. And what I can just sort of simply say is it's not a simple thing, but it doesn't make sense anymore. So we're in this uncharted place. We're in uncharted waters,
Mm-hmm.
and we get to talk about that. So that's the short of it.
I agree wholeheartedly. And what I have seen recently is this idea, this transparency, and I see corruption, and I mean, it was up close, really, really close to my family. I mean, long and short of it is my mom has a lake house and there's a dam there. And anyway, it turns out these people they said, oh, the dam's about to break. Sorry. We have no funds to fix it, though for years and years and years and years and years, everybody's paid into it. And so it's like, where did the money go? And they were supposed to drain the lake, and it was going to kill the value of the homes, and not to mention the wildlife and everything that had lived there for years. And it's just because these people that were appointed by the state decided, that they wanted to do something else.
Well, and you see this everywhere.
Well, and the money's gone.
Healed.
And they're so cavalier. They're so like, well, so what are you going to do about it? Sue us? Good luck with that. So then you start thinking, well, why do they feel that way? And who's in their back? And I think that kind of thing used to go on a lot, where I'm untouchable because I know the right people. And it didn't shake out that way. I mean, it did not shake out that way. So
I would say, just sort of like from my anthropological background, I think you could probably trace the culture, the Western culture, and probably not just Western culture, to a level of criminality that's infused throughout every aspect of our life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really more, I think criminality is a term that we can sort of like, it's an attention grabber, but it's really about integrity, right? Like what is valuable and what is not valuable to a human being on various levels. So we talk about, like I was talking to a girlfriend today about greed, and we have a very binary perception, good, bad, right, wrong. And, usually corruption doesn't just happen like all of a sudden a person is like, I'm going to do a bad thing. It's usually just sort of like a directional shift.
That's right.
And so what's happening though is there is that transparency. I think the vibration of the planet is rising. The consciousness of humanity is increasing. Like there's more awareness about stuff. And we still don't have our sea legs beneath us to understand what to do with that information. And I'm hoping that we can offer you all some tools to help stabilize so it doesn't feel so freaky and so unbalanced and like you're going to fall over, because it's not really what it appears.
Elaborate, please.
Well, I think really, so imagine if any of you have been to like Universal Studios or to Hollywood, there's a facade, right? You've been
Vegas.
driving through the facade places and there's a facade, and we all to a certain degree have a level of facade, and that authenticity component that starts to emerge when you do more deep inner work is starting to fall away even more. So people are freaking out a little bit because the ego is having to reconcile, and you'll hear terms like the ego is dying, and I don't think that that's a fair assessment. The ego may have to go through a transformation that would resemble a type of death, but kind of like how the caterpillar in the cocoon goes through a metamorphosis and liquefies to reemerge as the butterfly. But I don't think it's catastrophic. It's just really unfamiliar and really uncomfortable. And so it's and so we can talk more about it. I want to give you some.
No. Thank you. I was thinking, ego, we have to have it. It's who we are. It's our. I always hated it when folks would say, "Oh, you need to slay the ego. The ego needs to die." No, it doesn't. That's what makes you you. You know, that's what makes you human.
Part of the being.
That's exactly. That's the individuality, I believe.
Right.
But I believe what has happened. Okay, so this song, little boxes on the hillside. I love that song, and I mean, and it's like. We all go to school. We all marry the pretty wife. We all have the pretty little kids. We all join the country club. I mean, that's the song. That's what they say in the song.
Right.
And I do believe there was a template. You go to college, and you go to high school. You go to college. And these things would ensure success, so to speak. And I think that's what's being called to question. That's not necessarily the case now. How many people do you know that now? I mean, at least here in the States, you work hard enough. You have the right breaks. You meet the right people. You have that go-getter. You don't necessarily have to go to college. It is not a surefire way to be successful.
Yeah, there's not a tried and true path where you take it and there's success.
That's exactly right.
And luckily, like people like you and me never fit into that little box. So even if we tried to, and some of you listening might resonate with this too, it just never worked anyway.
It was so hard. I mean, not fitting is, actually I went to my high school reunion 30 years this past weekend, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful seeing everyone. It was fun. What I realized is that I didn't fit in any box, and I fit in all the boxes. It's like I had friends in all the groups, but I wasn't part of a group. But that's that same idea. It's like, yes.
I mean, it's that tendency that human beings have, and I think we're falling out of this expectation that you got to fit somewhere. There's got to be a container for you. There's got to be some way of making sense so that you can move forward. And I think that there's a lot of collapse of that. And the good news is that allows for your true self to emerge. And if you don't have any skills and the ability to listen to your inner guidance and follow suit from that place, there are things that you can do. But just know you're not dying, you're not losing your mind. There's actually something very profound happening, and connect with people who are like-minded, find books that resonate with you. But this is a journey of going inward, and it's a new quest. It's a new quest to really reveal who you truly are and who you're meant to be in this time.
Well, do you really? Okay, so my question around that is, it seems like television really does tell us what we're supposed to do. You're not supposed to have these bags. You need to go get that. You need to get that. You need to, and I throw all that out. I mean, I want to feel good about myself, but I don't want you to tell me how to feel. And I think that when you tune into TV and Instagram and all of these different things that want to show you how you are supposed to be, so I think on one hand we have this loud yelling
Right.
of what you're supposed to be, and then on one hand it's almost like now the other side is standing up going, I don't think so. So I don't know if it's just that we're older and we're saying being authentic is the way to go, or if it really is pervasive and throughout, I don't know, throughout
Well, I think one of
society.
the things, the symptoms, I think, of this need for true authenticity, and there might be specialists that totally disagree with me, but I would say the symptom is anxiety.
Hmm.
Um, is a deep,
Discordance.
yeah, a deep, a deep disturbance in the force. Just a feeling that there's incongruence. And I
Yeah.
think people who are sensitive, who are empaths, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers would see themselves as that, take that empathic capability that you have and tune it in towards yourself. What is it that your deepest, truest self really is hungry for? And give yourself permission to have needs, and start listening with your inner vision and hearing and sensitivities to what it is that true inner being wants.
I'm finding myself asking people, are you happy? Do you like what you do? Do you like how you spend your time? And I was listening to Joe Rogan yesterday. I love his show. I think his show is so much fun, and there's
Awesome.
so much good information out there. Um, and someone was saying that I think it was 63% of the population does not like how they spend their day. 63%.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. I mean, it is just a shame. But it's also scary to jump out and do something, and especially if you have to feed your children and keep the lights on. And I mean, that's a lot. And I know
Well, if
that,
you're paying attention to what is sort of showing up in how people behave, you can see it with the comments that people will say, the like the mean stuff, the political kabuki theater that you see. It's just, it's out there.